We are back. Welcome to Two Dudes and a Mexican. I'm your host, Peter Soprano. To my right, the resident Mexican, David Quinones.
Órale, mi gente.
And to my left,
up,
D-Money Drizzy Dre.
What's up, people? What's going on?
He's filling in today.
And we have the big story of the day that came out late last night. Garrett Cole. Oh, we're not talking about him right now. Garrett Cole signs 9 years, $324 million, $36 million a year.
36,
for a pitcher. The guy's going to make $1 million per start this year.
And I'm going to pay $45 a beer now.
He's going to make he's going to make $10,000 per pitch. Dave, what do you think about paying a pitcher this much? Despite the Yankees can afford it.
Oh, here we go.
But what do you think about somebody paying a pitcher this much?
Listen, I mean, you knew that, once Strasburg, got paid what he got paid, whatever team that was going to go out and get Garrett Cole was going to have to pay over $300 million. I mean, I think that was given. Listen, is he the best pitcher in the major leagues right now? Some can argue yes. Others maybe argue no. But I think this is a huge addition, obviously, for this pitching staff for the Yankees, because now they do have their ace. They have a good 2, a good 3, a good 4. And listen, I don't know if it's worth it for $324 million, but it's definitely going to be worth it to their fans, and it's definitely going to be worth it because I think they're the favorites to make it to the World Series and win it. So I think the favorites, though.
Who was the good 2, 3, and 4 though? I mean, everybody assumes Severino and Tanaka.
Listen, I think Severino can be an ace down the line if he can stay healthy, but I think he's a solid number 2. Tanaka. Definitely, I think a solid number 3. So you still got, Herman.
You don't know if he's going to jail for beating.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know if he's going to jail. Yeah,
and you got the Montgomery coming back. So listen, they have a lot to look forward to. But again, the biggest thing is they got their ace, a guy who's proven that he can pitch in the playoffs, that he can pitch well during the regular season. I mean, dude, that's like 20 wins easy right then and there with signing him.
Easy.
So easy, probably more. So
wow,
we'll see.
You can make some money betting off that. It's hard to get 20 wins in Major League Baseball now.
Listen, with that offense though, backing him up, forget it. I mean, listen, he pitched in Houston. He can pitch in the AL. He's already proven that. He won the Cy Young, so he's proven it all. So now I think all it boils down to is, can he pitch in New York? Because we see that sometimes, right? The Yankees go out and get big pitchers, and what do? They fall flat on their face, in New York. So we'll see if he can maintain the pressure and pitch here, and deal with the New York media. He's going to do really well in the city. So
all right, so Dre, I'm going to move that question to you a little bit. Now we understand that how good of a pitcher he is. We understand how much money he's going to be making. Do you think it was a wise investment to be paying that much for a pitcher?
Listen, when you make those type of investments, you're making a statement in the league, and I think the organization is making a statement that
we're not cheap anymore.
Yeah,
here's this boatload of money.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't exactly cheap. I mean, they went and traded for Stan, who makes like $30 million a couple of years ago. So they were never cheap.
And to piggyback off of what Dave was saying a little bit, it's making the fans happy. They're putting themselves in position to win, but not just only win games, but to we're talking championships now. So if you ask me, I think it's worth it. Is it a lot of money? Yes, obviously that's a boatload of money, but it's going to be worth it for years to come. So I think it was a good deal.
All right, get the booze ready for me. All right,
here we go.
So,
here we go.
If it's me, I am not paying a pitcher $36 million. Now, besides the Yankees, if there was any other team in the league that signed this player, any of the 29 other teams, I would say this is a stupid signing. The reason why is because, one, you're paying him till he's 38 years old. Yep. So when he's 38 years old, when he's 35, 36, Verlander's 36 and he's already starting to fall off a cliff. So you're going to be paying Garrett Cole probably for about 2-3 years. He's going to be another Jacoby Ellsbury at the end of his contract in his last 3 years.
Wow.
So you're going to, and at that
Those
time,
are shots fired
and you are paying Jacoby Ellsbury $23, $24 million. You're going to be paying this guy $36 million. So you're going to be paying him $36 million. $10,000 a pitch when he's 38 years old. So that's why if any other team in the league, 29 other teams try to do that, it's a stupid move. Wow. But the Yankees are the one team that's able to throw stupid money and not care about it. So, and I don't want to hear all this crap about, oh, we threw Andy Pettitte to go and see him, and that was his childhood favorite player, and he always wanted to be a New York Yankee and all this. No, we don't want to hear none of that. Because you know what? It was, see, now you're trying to blow that with commercials. No, I will not be contained. Listen, I don't want to hear any of that crap. They paid him $324 million. That's the reason why he signed. The next team that gave him the highest offer, from what I was told, was the Dodgers, which was around $300 million, and the Angels offered 8 years, $288 million. So, with that said, I think they overpaid, but the Yankees can do that. And,
definitely overpaid.
And I got these gunned at me, but I don't care anyway.
Got the booze, got the flag.
I mean, listen. I guess CC Sabathia was right.
He's still mad about 95.
You pay the guy. You know, a boatload of money. He'll pitch on the moon. He puts in the moon for you. So, listen. They paid him a lot of money, and he said yes.
But now, I mean, this just quickly off topic to move away from him. Rendon's still out there, and he's the next one. And before we get to him, Scott Boras is the man of the year. He's already sold 3 contracts that add up to $650 million, and as our producer said, he's going to get 10% of that. So he's already made $65 million this offseason. He has Rendon, who's going to bring in another $250 to $300 million this offseason. That's going to get him another $25 million. And then he still has players like Dallas Keuchel, Ryu. He's going to end up making $100 million, this over $100 million this offseason.
Just as an agent.
Just for negotiating contracts. He is the man of the year. If you're not raising your sons and daughters to be in sports, raise them to be sports agents. That's what you need to do. But let's move on to a quick recap of what happened this past week with listen, we had a great NFL weekend. It was great games. And the game of the week was New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers.
Crazy.
Game went down to the last second. We, of course, anytime the Saints are involved, we're going to have controversial calls.
Of course.
It was a pass interference. There was a rule that showed it really wasn't pass interference. Nobody knew the rule, but we now know it wasn't pass interference. Now, one, do you think the Saints got screwed a little bit in that, even though you know now that the rule was correct and they shouldn't have called it? Do you think the Saints are used to getting screwed? And two, what does this say about the Saints and the 49ers now after this game?
I'm not surprised about the call. Again, that's the league. Unfortunately, they don't even know what they're doing as far as when it comes to whether the call stands or not. I mean, it's funny how they implemented the rule because of the New Orleans game last season, and yet they still don't know what to do about it. But unfortunately, that's just how it goes.
They screwed the Dolphins still.
Now, with that being said, look, the fact that New Orleans were able to put up 40 points and vice versa with the Niners putting up 40 points.
46, something like that.
Yeah, so, again, to me, it just says a lot. If anything, this game says a lot to me about Jimmy G. A lot of people, always question whether Jimmy G was able to close games and not just depend on his defense or if he was an okay quarterback. He had, 40 seconds left on the clock. A big play to Kittle to set him up for that big field goal winning game. You got to take your hat off to San Fran because they just came out of a tough game with Baltimore. Yeah. To go into the Superdome and play a hot team.
After another tough game with Seattle.
Exactly. So, you know what? Kudos to them. They found a way to get it done. And, again, you know what? To me, this isn't a loss in New Orleans. They got beat by a really good San Francisco team, and it's not like they got beat by multiple points or they got blown out.
I mean, you look at what San Fran has done with Seattle, Green Bay. Now this going against New Orleans. Like they're on a roll with playing against top teams in the league right now.
They're on a roll, and you know what? Again, New Orleans is still a team to be reckoned with in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So again, big shout out to both teams. Big shout out to San Francisco for pulling up a huge win, which in my opinion, I thought it was over once. Drew Brees did what Drew Brees usually does, and that's drive his offense down the field for a touchdown. Jimmy G, stepped up, man, and he made a big play that won the game. So, like I said, kudos to them.
Dave, what does this game say more about? Does it say more about San Fran defense giving up that much, or does it say more about San Fran's offense being able to do that against New Orleans?
Yeah, I think it says more about San Francisco's offense, obviously. Listen,
trash.
if you told me before this game,
Yo.
Drew Brees was going to throw for 5 touchdowns and lose,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be like, yeah, you're crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
So, listen, that defense gave up a lot of points, but listen, that offense was resilient. Running game kept grinding it out. Jimmy G making plays. Kittle making big plays. I think even their special teams had a couple of good plays too. So sometimes that's what it takes, man. Listen, and I had New Orleans winning this game.
So did I.
Especially with San Francisco traveling, from all the way from the West Coast. I thought that was going to have an issue. Obviously, New Orleans playing in their dome. In their friendly confines.
They rarely lose there.
They rarely lose there. So you got to give credit to the San Francisco team, man. They grinded it out. Again, they lost last week against Baltimore. I had them losing again this week, and they just found a way. So sometimes teams just find a way. And they did it.
Yeah, I mean, listen. After having that stretch that we just talked about, and then another week they got to play Seattle again. So that could be could be for the division, and not only the division, but that could decide who's the number 2 seed in the whole conference.
Exactly. And if I had to throw something in there, yeah, obviously both defenses gave up a lot of points, but. Despite the score in this game, I feel like the defense still played well, creating the turnovers, the fumbles, and setting up their teams in good field position and, just stay in the game. So, yes, I know they did give up a lot of points. But, I mean, when you're playing on turf and you're playing up against that high-powered offense and New Orleans, and, like I said, shout out to San Fran for, not only staying in there, but actually getting it done.
Paying off the ref.
Wow. And let's just add too. New Orleans almost pulled away. In the beginning, they were up by what? Like
2 touchdowns.
They were up by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it seemed like
13 points.
they were going to start pulling away, and then San Fran just found a way to just stay in there, make big plays.
The Saints did what the Saints do. They found a way to blow it. That's what they do in every.
You could say that too.
They do that in every single big spot. Whether they give up a miracle touchdown to Minnesota, whether they can't get the last pass interference call versus the Rams, the Saints find a way to lose these type of games.
Yeah, but nobody was stopping Kittle.
But listen,
face mask and all that, man. But like I said,
but the point is that listen, if they wanted to do it, as soon as he caught it, dude was right next to the sidelines. He could push him out of bounds.
Right.
What he did, he tried to strip the ball. He grabbed the face mask, gave him 15 more yards. That's what the Saints do. That's what the Saints do. The Saints find a way to blow these games every single time. But another big game that we had this past week, another game that was one score, was Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Another game came down to the last couple seconds. Buffalo had the ball down 7. They couldn't get into the end zone. But what did that game tell you about both of these teams?
I mean, like I said, Baltimore, in my eyes, right now, they're the best team in the AFC. Again, their defense is just playing well. They got such a tough running game, and listen, Lamar Jackson. I mean, people are making arguments of him being an MVP this year. So, and he's making a big statement to do that. Buffalo resilient, man, because I thought that game was over, and all of a sudden, here comes Buffalo.
Yeah,
with their
I really like
running
the way they're
game,
playing,
and they didn't give up. And in all honesty, I thought they were going to tie the game at the end because that's what it looked like it was going to happen. So a lot of credit to Josh Allen too, man. That kid, he's a young kid, but he was able to put some plays together and almost get that ball in the end zone and tie that game up. So
yeah, it was a tough game, close game. It was actually a fun game to watch. Also,
it was, man. It really was.
Dre, what do you think about that game? What was your impression of those two teams?
Honestly, like me, so me, I picked Baltimore to win, and the fact that the fact that like
we both thought Buffalo cover though.
Yeah, exactly. In which they didn't. But
no, they didn't. But like
a
one point.
But still, but the point is that I didn't expect Baltimore to blow them out. Josh Allen's been playing really good football. The whole team as a unit, both sides of the ball, they've been playing great football. The defense is. Ranked 3rd overall. I mean, the offense, Josh Allen's making some big plays.
They've played against good teams.
And the fact that, I guess, they lost against Baltimore, but Baltimore, I mean, they've been blowing out teams like the Patriots, the Rams. They've been blowing out teams. And again, to me, in my opinion, Buffalo has nothing to be ashamed about, in my opinion. There's no, I mean, guys, you guys lost, 7 points against Baltimore. There's still a lot of game left.
One score game to Baltimore. They lost a 1-score game to New England.
They got a whole foot in the playoffs, and again, to me, it's looking again nothing to be ashamed about. The better team just won.
It's like they're almost there, you know. They're there, you know.
Yeah.
They just need more experience, you know. Maybe
one more game breaker.
Yeah, but it seems like they're so close. And again, that defense is ferocious.
And I'll tell you something.
One of the best defenses in the AFC, one of the best defenses in the NFL.
And in my opinion, I think this is the type of game that's going to help Buffalo down the stretch, especially when it comes to playoff time.
I think this is one. I think Buffalo reminds me of San Fran before they made the Emmanuel Sanders trade.
Okay.
I think if Buffalo had one more weapon, probably at wide receiver, it can open up their team so much more. You look at San Fran, what they were at the start of the year before the trade. They were winning, but they were winning close games. They were winning with defense. Then when they got Emmanuel Sanders, they opened it up. They started scoring more points. I think that's what Buffalo does right now. I think they keep games close, but they just don't have that one game breaker to give them that extra 7 points or that extra field goal that pushed them into the win.
Sometimes it takes somebody to step up, too, because, like, you see Deebo Samuel, man, that guy has stepped up. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you really didn't know who he was at the beginning of the year. Now you know who he is.
Well, both of them have that rookie because Deebo Sanders for San Francisco, and then you got Singletary as a rookie for Buffalo. So you can't expect too many rookies to step up at one time, but both of them have a big impact rookie. And I know that's something that's going to be very big because Dre plays that Buffalo team next week with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But with that said, let's get into the Thursday night game coming up this week. It's going to be one day you may want to fall asleep during. Like, find something else to do. But
they couldn't flex that game somewhere else, man.
They can't flex it, unfortunately.
Just take it out and put another one in.
Just don't watch. But it's bad.
Or just move it to Friday.
It's really bad. No, don't move it to any game.
Move it to Fridays. At least people get drunk and watch it.
You know what? Move it to London. That's what you do. move it to London so you can play it at 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. That's what you can do. Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Jets. Right now, the point spread is 15.5.
Oh, my God.
Everybody expects Baltimore to blow them out. I expect Baltimore to blow them out.
I got them blowing them out.
You got them blown out. Is this going to be anywhere close?
No, it's not. I mean, listen, both teams are, so to speak, on different spectrums right now. So everything's unraveling, too, with the Jets. I mean, while I was driving, into work today, they were talking about Le'Veon Bell and him bowling on Saturday night. How he didn't think that would be an issue or something like that. So
I don't think.
It's a circus over there. Let's be honest here. So I feel bad for them. So
I don't.
Baltimore. Listen, Baltimore's. They're not going to take this game lightly. They're going to do what they need to do.
They want to be number one seed.
Yeah, and they're just going to roll over the Jets. So
yeah, super. I mean, look, man, that's a very well-coached team. You can obviously see it. And like I said on Pete's Corner, they're not going to let their foot off the pedal. They're going to ram it down the Jets. Ram
it down their throats.
Ram it down their throats in this game.
Ram it down their chest.
Listen, exactly. And Baltimore's just going to stack up the points. And like I said before, they're looking for that number one seed in the AFC. They're looking for that home field advantage when it comes to playoffs and the championship games. And, again, the Jets is just I feel bad for them in a way. Again, it's just falling apart for them, not looking good. I expect Baltimore to roll big time.
Off the Jets.
Listen, this is what we got to talk about. This is football. But listen.
That's not football. It's one team coming to destroy the other one.
Circus?
That's it. It's a circus.
Watch the Jets pull off an upset and piss us all off.
Wow.
But no, I think Baltimore's going to win this game by 20.
No
they're not pulling one up.
It'll be a blowout. But before we go, I want to talk about two more quick things before we get out of here. One, this week, Army-Navy game.
Yeah, right.
The tradition. Who do you got?
I'm going to have to go with Navy here.
All right.
I mean, they're going to try to, make it 4 straight, I think?
Well, Army's won 4 straight.
Army's won 4 straight. Army's won 4 straight.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go with Navy.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Navy.
Yeah.
Just because.
I'm going to go with Navy also. I think Navy's a better team. Army's been up and down all year. Navy's only lost 2 games all year, and both of them to ranked teams. Memphis was top 15 ranked, and Notre Dame was top 15 ranked. So I think they'll win that game by 2 touchdowns. What do you got?
Yeah, I agree. I expect Navy to play really well.
Because Horny's going on.
Has he been playing all season long?
He's been always going, sailing against us.
Yeah. It didn't work last week.
No, it didn't work last week.
Nah, it worked against San Fran. I picked them. Listen, I got Navy to win. Same range as Pete said, 2 touchdown range. Listen, I know Army's been winning their past matchups, but I can't trust Army. They haven't played well all season. And Navy's been playing really well. I got to go with them. I agree with Pete. I expect them to win between a 13 to 16-point range. They cover the spread.
And before we get out of here now, we have to get to big boxing fight this weekend. I'll be there at the Terrence Crawford fight, but I'm not worried about the Terrence Crawford fight. I'm worried about the co-main event, Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Comey. What do you have in that fight?
I'm gonna have to go roll with my boy Teofimo.
So you think 22 years old gets his championship, huh?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. He's a young lion coming up, so he likes to hit. We'll see. I think it ends in knockout, though. So
Wow.
And knockout.
Yes, sir.
What do you got?
Teofimo Lopez. I think we're going to see a new champion. It's going to be a close fight. This is a fight I think is going to go to the scorecards. I think this is a fight where both fighters are going to respect each other's power. They're not going to get reckless. Obviously, this is a type of fight where anything could happen at any second. Where a firefight could just break out in the middle of the ring, and we could just see.
What the hell?
No, I'm saying like we could just see.
That's what you made it sound like.
No, because
We're at the Thunderdome.
It's not wrestling, right?
The feed.
Why is this not wrestling? Because what? Wrestling is what?
Yeah, we don't want to piss off wrestling belt.
Hold on.
We have a wrestling belt right here.
God damn it.
That's a boxing belt.
I like that. It's a boxing belt.
No,
Boxing's dead.
But I expect this to go to the scorecards. I got Lopez winning by split decision, close fight. I expect him to win and become the new champion.
Listen, I'll be the odd person. I'm going with the 32-year-old Richard Comey to retain his belt. He will find a way to listen. Teofimo is a guy who very brash, very cocky. Some people just call it confident. Little cocky, does flips in the rings after he wins in front of his opponent. He dances all the time.
He's a jerk off.
So I think he needs a little bit of his comeuppance. I think he takes a shot. Both of these guys have power, can knock you out in a couple shots, and I think he's actually going to get knocked out in probably the 8th round. So I'm going Comey to knock him out in the 8th round. That's my bet for the week. That's my big bet for the week. And with that said, any final thoughts?
You missed the soundbite. Oh man.
Yeah, he
You
already
messed up with the soundbite.
He already missed the soundbites. But
That's all right.
listen, we're gonna
We're twice on Sunday.
we're gonna catch you. We're gonna catch you guys on Sunday from Blackjacks.
Some big games coming up Sunday.
A
People,
lot of
tune
big
in.
games coming up. Listen, he's got to play against Buffalo. My team's got to go against the Houston Texans.
Big AFC South game
My
coming
team
up
sucks.
too.
And his team. And his team.
We're just trying to buy time for.
No,
that
you
pick.
have a big game
You know what I'm
too because you're going against Miami.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that is a big
And
game.
whoever wins
We
gets
need-
screws themselves.
we need
I'll
to
be
lose
there.
that game.
Listen,
We need to lose.
He's going to be at the game. I don't know why.
I'll
But
be at the.
I don't know why.
Listen, I'll be at the
He's
dumpster
scouting.
bowl. That's
He's
the dumpster
scouting.
bowl. I'll be there for
He's
that
scouting.
one.
They don't have a first round pick. They can't scout anything. But you got 3 wins. Dolphins got 3 wins. The loser of that game could be out of the Chase Young Bowl.
Wow.
It's the big game. We will catch you Sunday to preview that real quick. Preview all the games. We'll talk about everything on Sunday from Blackjacks on Sunday. Peace out, everybody.
Love you.